Hello, this is Dr. Mark Goulston, and my superpower is I help good people have more impact, especially women. I mentor 30 women, and I love giving them the impact that they deserve. Take, for instance, Joan. Joan was telling me that she was having an issue with her husband. Her husband is an engineer type who likes to give solutions that she never asks for, and he often accuses her of blithering. Now, she owns up to the fact that she blithers, and she says, when we're in company with other people, I do blither, but people like me, and they think my husband is a stiff, which he is. And so when we get into these arguments, he freezes like a deer in the headlights of a car. So what I told Joan was to employ something called mediated catharsis. Here's what it looks like. I said, Joan, say to your husband, Jack, look him straight in the eye and say, when you're having an argument, and say, Jack, I think I have a way through this better than we usually do. Now, of course, he's going to say, great, argument's all over, happy, let's go out to eat, let's have wine, let's go have sex. But when he says that, say, no, I think it'll help us get through this better. And I told her, look into Jack's eyes and say, Jack, say this to me. Joan, when we get into an argument and you start escalating or getting emotional, it makes me crazy. It makes me want to run into a wall and bang my head into the wall, and you make me nuts. So Joan asked Jack to do that, and Jack did that. And then she coaxed him into doing more of it, and he did more of it. So I spoke to Joan about 4 days later, and I said, how did it go? And she said to me, well, I've got good news and bad news. I said, what's the good news? And she said, I coaxed him to say those things and get things off his chest. And he was kind of hesitant because he's a little bit constipated because he's an engineer type. And then he got into it, and he got into it. And after about 5 minutes, he was venting things to me from other relationships. He was just having a good old time, and I wasn't defensive because, like you said, I was in charge of the conversation. And I said, so what's the bad news? And she said, well, the bad news is after he got all of this off his chest, he looked at me with this loving smile and said, you're my best friend. I adore you. And he's following me around like a puppy dog. He keeps hugging me. He keeps kissing me. I mean, the guy is creeping me out. And I said, Joan, don't worry about it because you'll slip back to the usual and just try and keep it somewhere in between. And that's the power of mediated catharsis.